Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the second shelf. It's already the 3rd of October, and I know I'm late to the party because Victober started 2 days ago, and I started reading already, but I didn't film anything for some reason. You know, reasons. But I thought I would want to film a TBR video for Victober because Victober is fantastic and it's, one of my favorite read-alongs, year stuff read-alongs together with Nonfiction November, by the way, which is the next one, which is also fantastic. But Victober, I'm not that much into Victorian literature. Yes, don't kill me. So Victober is always for me, a good inspiration to pick up some Victorian literature or more than I normally would. So I'm happy about that always. There are 3 organizers as always. Thank you, ladies, for organizing Victober again. That's Katie from Books and Things, Kate Howe, and Lucy the Reader, and you will find links to their channels down below, but you don't need those links because you watch their videos anyway, now don't you? There's also a Goodreads group. I will leave a link to that as well, where you can find, recommendations and the challenges. Each of the 3 organizers has a challenge or gave us a challenge, and then there is a group challenge, and there's a bonus challenge. So that makes it 5, if I can count correctly. And I will leave all the challenges and everything down below as well. Because the only thing you're really interested in, if you are interested at all, of course, is my TBR. But I will have a look at the challenge because the first book, so that I can. But I will talk about the book first. How about that? And it's a huge one. It's this. George Eliot, Daniel Deronda from Vintage, which has even more pages than the regular Penguin Classic edition. This has 899 pages. So it will keep me busy probably all month because I'm buddy reading it with Heidi from my reading. I mean, it doesn't keep me busy because I'm buddy reading it. We are buddy reading it, and we will take the whole month because it's a junkster. So I'm buddy reading it with Heidi from my reading life. And I'm really looking forward to this. Again, I mentioned that Friday with my tops and flops already. I try to read all of George Eliot's novels. And this one is one of the ones that I haven't read. Obviously, duh. I don't know that much. With classics, I try to, if I haven't watched a movie like Jane Austen, Sense and Sensibility, you can't be spoiled anymore after you've watched the movie. But Daniel Deronda, I haven't watched the movie adaptation, so the only thing I know is that we have an encounter in the beginning of Daniel Deronda and a young woman who is gambling, and from this vantage point or starting point of the novel, we will get 2 separate timelines and flashbacks. Daniel Deronda's life, who is obviously a really good person from what I understand, and her life. I think her name is Gwendolyn or Gwendolith or something. Whatever. So that's what I know. And I'm just, giving myself over to George Eliot, trusting her and her ability to engross me, enchant me, enamor me, whatever. And to look at the prompts, that's why I opened the document. So this qualifies for challenge number 2. That's Katie's challenge: read a Victorian book set in the country and or the city. I mean, there are not really any other possibilities, I would say. And challenge number 4, which is the group challenge: read a popular Victorian book that you haven't read yet. And this is, of course, popular. I mean, George Eliot, and it's Daniel Deronda. And challenge number 5 is the bonus challenge: read aloud a section of a Victorian work or have it read to you. Could also be audiobook. And part of this I will do as an audiobook because I will be traveling in October again to my mother, and I'm not going to take breaks. So I will listen for a week or so. I will listen to this as an audiobook. So I completed, when I have finished this book, I have already completed 3 of the 5 challenges. How about that? The next book on my TBR, I chose specifically to fulfill a challenge, and that is, I think, Katie's challenge from Books and Things. No, Kate from Kate Howe. Sorry, ladies. I always mix up those names. Not the ladies, but the names I mix up. So Kate Howe's challenge is read a sensational Victorian novel. And I didn't even exactly know what that was, but that was obviously a thing in Victorian England. I can understand that because Victorian England was so, kind of rigid with the morals, and so you needed some outlet, and I guess sensational novels, that was a good outlet for all kinds of scandal and stuff. And I chose this one, Lady Audley's Secret by Mary Elizabeth Braddon, published in 1862, and it fulfills also another challenge, that it's a very popular book. At least it was back then, because it was a bestseller. I have also never read this author, this Victorian author, so that was also a reason that I wanted to pick up this book, to expand my Victorian horizon just a little bit. And she wrote popular fiction back then. So if you have read any other Mary Elizabeth Braddon except for this one, and you have a recommendation maybe for next year or something, let me know down in the comments. And this one is, the beautiful young new Lady Audley, just married, and she is, mysterious, and there is something in her past, a secret, or maybe more than one. Yeah, that sounds fabulous. I'm really looking forward to my first. No, I think I probably read sensational novels, a Victorian sensational novel. I just didn't know that they were called that. But this one is at least my first Mary Elizabeth Braddon. And like I said, it's challenge number 1 that I fulfill with this one. And also number 3, read a Victorian book with a female main character. Forgot to mention that. That is Lucy's challenge. So that Lady Audley is the main character. And it's number 4, like I told you, the group challenge, the popular book. So 3 to go, 3 challenges with this as well. And I think I fulfilled all of them now with those 2 books, but I have still more books to go. And the first one is a real treat that I have Mel to thank for, and that's this one. Wonderful Adventures of Mrs. Seacole in Many Lands. By Mary Seacole, first published in 1857, I want to say. Yes, 1857. It's a non-fiction book. First of all, that's something that I really like, to add also some non-fiction to my Victober reads. And the author is a free-born Black woman. She was born in Jamaica at the end of the 18th century. And she was kind of the comparable, or she was compared to Florence Nightingale, because not only did she travel a lot, many lands, but she also was a nurse to soldiers in the Crimean War. She had a hotel where she cared for wounded soldiers. I have never heard of this book, and Mel, for her Read Around the World book club, suggested or picked this book for Victober. So we're traveling to Jamaica because the author is born in Jamaica, was born in Jamaica, but it's also a Victober book. I think it's fabulous. Mel, I couldn't thank you enough for picking this book that I've never heard of. And this, of course, also fulfills prompt number 3, read a book with a main female character. I mean, it's not a character because it's not fiction, but it's definitely the main person in this book is the author who tells us about her adventures. I'm so much looking forward to this one, so that's great. And the last book I picked for my TBR is the cheat book, because it's not Victorian, it's just about a Victorian. It's about George Eliot, and it's a biography, George Eliot, The Last Victorian by Catherine Hughes, published in 1998. And I picked this up, I want to say 3 or 4 years ago. I found this used copy, which is in perfect condition, and I have never read it. And I thought this year, with my, my own challenge of reading George Eliot's novels, I finally want to at least make a beginning to read this one. I also I watched Kim's video from the middle of the book march because she's also reading a biography for Victober, George Eliot biography, but a different one. I think she has read this one already. But anyway, she said, I waited a bit with biography because I wanted to read the novels first. And I had the same thing. I wanted at least to make a start with reading a couple of the novels. And I've now read 4, and I'm on to number 5 in October, Daniel Deronda, as I said like 5 minutes ago. So I feel I know enough of George Eliot's writing, of her work, to also make up my own mind what I feel about her work. And then I feel more comfortable starting a biography. But of course, this is not really a Victober book in the strict sense of the word, because it wasn't written or published during Victorian times. But I count it anyway, because I don't need another book to fulfill the challenges. And I feel that this is qualifying for Victober because it's about George Eliot. Yeah, bite me. Anyway, those are the 4 books that I hope to finish in October. So I start all of them in October, but I also hope to finish them. I have some doubts with the biography. I don't think, realistically speaking, I will be able to finish this one, that one, this one, and that one in October. But the other 3, I hope I will. I don't know whether you participate in Victober. Let me know if you do. What books you picked to read, whether you do the challenges or not. Or, I mean, you qualify for participating in Victober if you read one Victorian book. So, but I'm just curious whether you have plans. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. As always, I'm looking forward to your comments, and I'll see you all soon in the next one.